Alright, it's Schraven, aka Nefarious Yordle, and we're playing some chess tactics today, so let's get right into it. It's black to move, and our opponent just played bishop d3. It's kinda laggy, but of course you can still see the moves I'm doing, so shouldn't be too big of a problem. First things first, I see this advanced pawn. That could be some, troublesome things for white in store with that. Apparently I forgot how to speak because I'm pretty sure that sentence wasn't English, but whatever, dude. That does also make way for the rook on this file if we also get rid of that pawn somehow. So I'm still looking what's going to happen with that. The knight can't check the king. That's so there's no exposed attack there, right? There's no discovered attack, sorry. Yeah, what are we going to do? Our queen doesn't have very many attacking options, so that's not really... We can actually attack the queen right now, right? So that is a threat in two different ways. That opens up this diagonal, and, therefore just maybe create some opportunities to get in there, right? Get in there with that pawn and whatnot. So... Still, I think this one is nice. If we get bishop takes, though, what does happen then? Because the bishop doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot right now, and then it seems to come to the aid of the king perfectly. And then the pawn can just step forward, and I don't think we have a lot left. Once this pawn steps forward, I think we're kinda... Yeah, we just abandon all hope at that point, because then... the advanced pawn is no longer advanced, and that kills the attack dead. So, yeah, if at least if we do knight d4, then we don't have that bishop defending that pawn. That's one thing. So in that case, if the bishop takes, we have something like pawn takes, and now we actually have a defender. So what we really did in this case was get rid of the knight with tempo. Right, we're talking about things here like an advanced pawn that have a way bigger value than a knight. So all we want to do is get rid of this guy without wasting a move, right? And by attacking something that's more valuable than a knight, like the queen, that is a way that we can actually gain that tempo, right? So I'm thinking knight to e4. Now all we have to do is see if it actually works out, if there's no counter to this, right? So let's say if he could solve two problems at once, that would be great, right? He can't seem to attack the queen, though. And he can't seem to... I mean, he can do a little bit of a... No, the rook can't do anything, never mind. So... Seems like he's unable... Like, you can't move the queen out of the way and bring another defender in, because the queen's already defending this. So it has to be another piece, and therefore that doesn't work. So I'm just gonna do it like this. And then I think, yeah, you just take here, right? Like, this is not an X-ray, so I don't even have to think about that. I'm just going to capture. Just make sure to work out the specifics here, like if I should take with the rook first, right? And just threaten to check here and get the queen, right? So I'm not sure. For that, I do a little bit of a material count first to make sure that we're actually on the right track. 6 against 5 in pawns, and we're a full piece behind, so I'm not sure if I take this rook. I mean, he's still in a buttload of trouble, but is it enough? I can't check him here, and that's no problem for him. So I don't really see a reason to hurry up here. Unless he can block this off, right? Like, if he can block this off, like, obviously one of the ways to do it is just put a piece in front of it and you can't promote. That's one of the ways to defend against it. You just learn that quite quickly when you're working with these pawns like this. So I think that's actually not okay. We can't do that. And what we could also do if he takes, we can check here first, right? What would happen if he moves away from that? Yeah, that doesn't seem to do a whole lot more. But at least in that case, we're up a comfortable, exchange. So I think I'm just gonna go for it. Alright, thank Lord. It's always so risky in these problems where you're gonna get a lead, but you don't know if the computer thinks it's enough, right? Okay, so it actually prefers to take the pawn first. Little bit of a technicality there. And then I presume... Oh, wait, you can actually... I didn't see that. My bad, my bad. You can't move the king here because opponent's there, so it has to move in range of the rook. What a mistake, right? I just completely missed that. So, whoops, 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 whoops. That is such a blunder, such a simple part of the puzzle that I got wrong. But anyway, we still got it right. We still got an 1800 puzzle. Oh no, wait, this is the user. 1750, that's not bad. Let's just go into the next one, see if we can do another one. Keep the show going. In this case, bishop, rook takes a pawn. Very messy board, so maybe take me a second to get some oversight. I'm already looking at some trivial moves, of course. If I take here, and he takes back, let's just see what the material count is like right now. We both have a queen, both have a knight, and then we have this against that. So we're kind of even, right? So if I take the rook and he takes back, what's the problem, really? What's the problem? Why can't we just take here? So if you take it with the knight, then if he takes back, you can take back with the bishop. Oh, then he has a double attack here. So there's too many defensive problems. Like, he has this queen that's not attacking this right now, but it can do so with a tempo because this pawn is also hanging once this knight is gone. So because all of these loose pieces, eventually everything just comes crashing down. Like, you lose a pawn, and therefore you lose the bishop, right? And everything just fails. So you can't do that right now. You need more defensive resources. So the question is, how do we do that? Or do we do something else entirely? Let's see. We could just trade this off first, right? Like, let's say knight takes the rook, right? And then bishop takes. And then I take with the bishop. Yeah, I forgot about that. Right now he can't take, right? Right now he can't check there because the knight is defending it. I thought I lost the knight, but not if I do it in the correct order. So I guess if I take the rook right now, he's forced to take the knight. But in doing so, he loses the threat of taking that pawn. Well, at least he can still use the bishop, so he still might win an exchange because he can, you know, use this X-ray over here if he takes with the bishop. So let's see if we take with the knight, and then he takes queen takes knight, right? So knight takes rook, queen takes knight. Then what do we do? Because we're still in a lot of trouble with a lot of pieces, right? I think I could just defend it. Like I'm thinking about wacky moves. Problem is now this is also falling. We have so many defensive problems. Now I finally think, oh, maybe I can bring the king in. No, because this is attacked once already. Now it's attacked twice and it's gonna be with check no matter where I move here. Ah, man. So that's a rough one. That doesn't work either. So this is like one of these, oh, just take it. But then your whole position comes crashing down. Just give me a slightly better defended king or something, and it's all fine. Or give me a coordination between this rook and queen. Just put this off of these shitty diagonals. Just put it over here or something, and I'm fine with that. You know, but yeah, we gotta deal with what we actually have. So let's stop making up shit. So if I check, if I take on g7, right, I take the bishop and force a trade. He takes. No options, right? I take, he takes, and then I take. I think I just mitigated all my problems, because really the defensive resources, like, this queen is not helping out in this defense, so I think just trading off something that does nothing here with something that plays a vital role in crushing down with an attack here, I think that's just the only sensible play. The computer disagrees. I'm pretty sure this is something that a lot of people must have gotten wrong, because it made so much sense. And now you take. Right, so move order. Saw that coming, but not entirely sure why. Alright, queen takes g7. Queen takes. Knight takes g7. Oh, right. We lose a tempo, and we can get these intermezzos. So always make sure that you... What? Oh, it flipped the board. My bad. So always make sure that you check... in this case, like, how do I say this? There's no easy way around this. I can always try and boil it down to one simple rule. The fact of the matter is, you have to just visualize these things. You have to visualize the pieces that are there in one variation, and then when you go back and do another move, you have to visualize that those pieces are now differently distributed, right? Like, I didn't imagine the rook being an active piece here, because I kind of, in my mind, I already captured it, right? In all these variations, I looked at capturing it. So I didn't visualize the fact that it can deliver a check right now. And that kind of visualization just comes with practice, right? That's really the only way to do that. Let's do one more, and then we'll call it a day. In this one, let's see. There's a nice little battery going on. Two-way street. Alright. So this knight, if it moves, discovered attack. This guy's kind of pinned down to the defense. No, not really, actually, because this battery can just come and defend the back rank. Never mind. It's just that we know that when this moves, we can force him to go back, essentially, right? So, but anyway, to look at some actual moves might be a good idea. So if I play something like knight e4 is just a first thought, right? Because now I'm, let's see, I'm attacking the bishop twice, so it needs defense, right? And I'm attacking the rook with the less valuable piece, right? So that also needs a response. So I'm suddenly creating two threats at once. Now, you know, I still have sufficient defense on f7, and I have sufficient defense of the back rank. I don't really have those defensive problems. At least I don't witness them. He would have to be able to whittle down on my defense. And I don't see something like rook takes g6, right? If their h7 pawn wasn't there, then this would be so much more lethal. But it is there. It's fine. So I don't see any mating net happening, right, with the queen, like with that pawn and queen or something. That's just not there. So he'll have to do something more threatening. I see something. That doesn't work. Like, I was thinking rook c6, but the problem is I can just capture that one. Ah, wait, rook c6, and if I capture, then at least he can check. But the question is, can he follow it up? So what happens if he checks an f7, and then I move to h8? The question is, can he follow it up, right? And I don't think he can, so I think that doesn't work. Unless I'm missing something here, but I don't see it. So, knight e4, and it seems like he's in a lot of trouble. Let's see, knight e4, queen takes. I have to take with the queen. Bishop takes, check. I take with the king. And then what? Nothing is hanging, nothing is loose, nothing is just, you know, it's all fine, it's all fine. I don't see any sort of problems. I'm just gonna go with it, dude. Just have some balls, you know. Sometimes you have to just, at some point you keep analyzing it and you're just like, I don't see the problem here. At some points you have to just have some balls and realize that there's a chance you miss something. Like this one, this interference pattern. Interference is something that I haven't developed a lot of procedural memory. I don't know what you want to call it. Some people call it muscle memory, even when it doesn't involve muscles. But that kind of understanding, it's not really, understanding isn't the right word, but it's like these neural pathways that are created in your brain that involve these specific interactions, like these specific patterns, right? Some people, I guess, call it pattern recognition, right? And you just develop pattern recognition through practice. That is one way to describe it. But it doesn't really tell you what it actually is in your brain. So that's why I like muscle memory, because everybody knows what muscle memory is, right? If you're familiar with the term, you should be at least, right? So I'm just gonna capture this, and that's the beauty here. This interference doesn't work because the queen's X-ray defending this pawn, right? So it doesn't. So he ends an attacker on that square, and I just remove one. So it just doesn't have any potential. Apparently, this problem is really easy. I think that's not, because it's like The reason this problem is easy is because there's no viable alternative. Like, I didn't analyze every single variation correctly here, but it didn't lead to a mistake. Difficult problems are the ones where you making some tiny mistake in a variation is gonna make you play the wrong move. And here that I made a tiny mistake, but it didn't make me play the wrong move, and therefore it doesn't have a high rating. Right? That makes sense, right? Hope you guys enjoyed those little topics there, what I talked about. If you do, consider leaving a like. If you want to see content similar to this in the future, let me know, and maybe consider subscribing, because I will probably, you know, if you guys show support on this video and give me subs, I will certainly be making more of this, right? I'm gonna just, like, I'm a very simple man. I get views, I make more of that same content. Simple as that, right? So, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.